This was the value of Liverpool when Klopp took over. This is the value when he leaves. Few managers are as polarizing as Jürgen Klopp, hated and loved at the same time. So with his era at Liverpool coming to an end, we looked into the management skills of Jürgen Klopp, a sequel to our video from almost exactly 3 years ago. Welcome to Athletic Interest. When it came to money, Jürgen Klopp said goodbye and went for a walk in the nearby Central Park. Meanwhile, in the office of a law firm on New York's Lexington Avenue, his agent negotiated his new contract. On that 1st October in 2015, Klopp became the head of one of the most famous football clubs in the world. Annual salary, at that time, around 11 million euros. Klopp had passed the CEO test. Michael Gordon, president of the Fenway Sports Group, US owner of the Liverpool FC, had screened the candidate according to all rules of investment arithmetic. How many points per game does he manage? How many goals do his teams score on average? How do his results on the pitch relate to the financial possibilities of his employer? The figures spoke for Klopp. When he saw him in person that day, Gordon, who has earned a fortune in 3 decades as a hedge fund manager, was thrilled. It was clear that Jürgen as a football coach was on the same level as a company boss, like a man you would like to trust your company to. Klopp proved him right in 2019. He and his team defeated Tottenham Hotspur in the final of the Champions League and won the biggest title in club football. For this achievement, he has been honored as World Coach of the Year 2019 and thus as the most valuable manager football's billion-euro business has to offer.
Nobody would have expected that I stand here 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago probably.
Since then, Klopp has kept Liverpool near the top of English and European football. Since professional football has become a global business in which the ratings of top clubs reach several billion euros, it has given birth to a new class of top coaches. They plan new stadiums, steal transfers, charm sponsors and investors, think about nutrition, regeneration and youth work, and experiment with new digital tools. Top coaches are now top managers. To increase the value of their clubs, they need all the qualities of a good CEO. Indeed, managers can learn a lot from someone like Klopp. How to motivate people, how to withstand pressure, and, increasingly important, how to know when it's time to say goodbye.
Ooh, he's on the market. Is he on the market?
I don't know.
Now I'm interested.
Sure, Klopp is a successful coach. The small FSV Mainz, where he took over the coaching job overnight in 2001 after 11 years as a player in the second division, led Klopp into the Bundesliga. With Borussia Dortmund, he became champion twice and won the DFB Cup once. And in 2013, he even led the club to the final of the Champions League. For his investor, however, the focus is not on goals and victories as a coach, but on how he increases the value of his club as a manager. The value of Liverpool doubled in Klopp's first few years as manager. As he leaves, the club is now worth almost 4 billion, making Liverpool one of the most valuable sports clubs on the planet. Klopp's former boss John Henry also demands something countable. Mathematical models with which he bet on the prices of soybeans and other raw materials have brought the US American a fortune of $5 billion. His love belongs to baseball. So Henry, who is the main shareholder of FSG, has been buying into baseball teams for more than 30 years. He owns the famous Boston Red Sox. In Liverpool, Klopp was to repeat what FSG succeeded in doing with the Red Sox: to restructure a traditional but run-down sports company. Since its purchase in 2002, the Red Sox club has won the World Series 4 times. The entry price in Liverpool was probably right. When FSG bought into the club in 2010, the club threatened to choke on its debts. FSG only paid 350 million euros. Liverpool is one of the most emotional brands in world football. The city has kept up with the big clubs from Manchester, Madrid or Munich for decades. The Reds have won 19 English Championship Cups and now 6 Champions League trophies. Mark Kosicke became Klopp's agent in 2007. When the man from Bremen was still working for the sportswear manufacturer Nike, that coach from Mainz suddenly appeared in his office because he wanted to be equipped by the US brand. Difficult, said Kosicke, because with coaches we don't sell sneakers. But it was immediately clear to him that this guy is a modern leader with an uncanny energy and eloquence. Klopp got some equipment, but Korsika also had him give leadership lectures internally at Nike, a huge success. Shortly afterwards, he founded his agency Project B to exclusively advise coaches. Korsika could sell his most important asset as a speaker to a different global corporation every week. Google, Apple, BMW, they all want Klopp. The club often attracted sponsors by giving their top people access to the manager. Klopp's job title is manager. Sounds simple, but means he's in charge of almost everything. Klopp has kept the club focused on himself and at the same time made sure that he doesn't get stuck with details. In Dortmund, he shared the work with a CEO and a sports director. He soon made it clear to his US bosses that he would like to see a similar distribution of roles in Liverpool. They first promoted Michael Edwards to sports director for transfers in 2016. Shortly afterwards, they brought in Peter Moore, ex-top manager of Microsoft and Electronic Arts, to relieve Klopp in business matters. Both actually left Liverpool before Klopp. Perhaps this loss encouraged Klopp to move on. In fact, when it was announced that Michael Edwards was returning to Liverpool next season, Klopp reportedly considered reversing his decision to quit. When he started in Melwood, he was quickly disturbed by the great distance between the players and the service staff. So he memorized the names of all 80 employees who take care of the players. He invited them and the players into the dining room and introduced them to his team one by one. All of them had the duty to help each other to achieve the best for the club. Klopp put world stars, who earn up to 230,000 euros a week and have a market value of 150 million euros, on a par with cooks and masseurs. On a wall in the executive suite, Klopp had written, "Together strong." Klopp once described his philosophy: "I want the people around me to be happy." And as a manager, that also means having confidence in employees. I believe the greatest strength of strong personalities is to surround yourself with people who are stronger than you in certain areas. Klopp delegates a lot. Back in Mainz, he had co-trainer Peter Krawiec show self-selected videos during the halftime breaks to make players aware of mistakes. Since then, the tactical genius, nicknamed The Eye, has been at his side. In 2016, he brought fitness guru Andreas Kornmeier to Liverpool, as well as nutrition specialist Mona Nemmer. Coincidence or not, he poached both of them from FC Bayern, who had bought away Dortmund's stars Mario Götze and Robert Lewandowski. Additions such as Kornmeier and Nemmer are as important to club as million-dollar transfers. He even described Nemmer's signing as his only world-class transfer, because he thinks football is more complex. He not only relies on the best feet, but also on the best minds. As drill sergeant, Kornmeier prepares the professionals for the brutal style of play that Klopp demands. Everyone gets his own training plan, depending on what his fitness data reveal. And Nemmer makes sure that the stars also eat the best possible food. When Klopp arrived in Melwood, they still had the traditional English breakfast with sausages. Now Nemmer regularly studies the blood values of each player via app and adjusts the diet. The team means everything to Klopp. That's why he also selects players according to whether they fit in character. To have a complete idiot with you just because he can kick a little better is totally annoying, Klopp once told a German newspaper. When he wanted to sign midfielder Jorginho Wijnaldum, he invited him to his home to get to know him first. The Dutchman was flabbergasted when the future boss wanted to chat about his last holiday instead of football. A dozen nationalities play together at Liverpool. Egyptians, Brazilians, Germans, Spaniards. Such heterogeneous teams are also becoming increasingly common at international companies. They can only be led through a shared goal with a high level of intercultural competence, a strong sense of community, and a high level of professional authority. Klopp leads his team with vision and innovation. He hands over responsibility to those who can do something better than he can, and he is aware of his role in the football business. Coaches are also entertainers. Only if the show on the pitch captivates the audience again and again will football remain one of the best paid entertainment industries in the world. Football is theater, says Klopp. If we don't play a great play, there will only be two people left sitting around at the end. Klopp uses his showmanship strategically. He used the first press conference in Liverpool as a kind of government statement.
I'm a totally normal guy. I'm the normal one, maybe, if you want this. Yeah.
A distinction from star coach Jose Mourinho, who had branded himself the special one. As an advertising face, Klopp is one of the most sought-after German celebrities. He already advertised rusk, razors, wallpaper paste, cars and beer. He reportedly earns close to $9 million per year from advertising. The down-to-earth attitude, which gives Klopp credibility among fans, also makes the commercial side of the football business look less unlikable. Of course, the proceeds are always being maximized. Liverpool even has contracts for jeans, coffee and prams. But with an emotional figure like Klopp at the top, it didn't stand out as much. Klopp has actually exceeded the targets set by his employer. After all, the FSG bosses mainly told him to regularly reach the Champions League in order to stabilize revenues. Income from both TV and sponsorships has doubled under Klopp. Maybe Klopp's tenure at Liverpool will see him get a bronze statue at the stadium. Like Klopp icon Bill Shankly, who coached the Reds for 15 years and won 6 titles. Shankly's statue is engraved with the words, "He made the people happy." In Klopp's case, you could add, "and the investors too." Many would have liked to see Klopp stay for longer, but Klopp's decision to leave was intentional. And another business lesson we can learn from. To explain his decision to leave, Klopp compared himself to a sports car, one that can still go very fast, but that has also realized that the gas needle is reaching the bottom. But Klopp isn't quitting to make way for Xabi Alonso, and he certainly isn't saying that he has lost his touch. Coaching Liverpool is similar to running a large company. It's arguably one of the most stressful jobs in football. Even though he delegated a lot, Klopp still became the symbol of a new Liverpool and the spokesperson. Every success or failure usually ended with his picture and quote in the back of the newspaper. Rival fans might suggest that Klopp gave up when the pressure got too much. It would be fairer to say that Klopp decided to leave because he understood that he couldn't operate at 100% anymore.
I will leave the club at the end of the season.
And it looks like he was right. Klopp and his team ran out of steam at the end of his last season and missed that final big farewell title. Some may say that one Champions League and one Premier League title feels a little poor after almost 10 years. But context is essential. He has done that against a far wealthier club that has one of the greatest coaches in history. In those 2 seasons when Liverpool finished second, they had 97 and 92 points. Those numbers would have guaranteed the title in almost every year in the history of the Premier League. No wonder Klopp needs a break now. He took a year-long break before joining Liverpool as well. Pep Guardiola did the same thing after completing football with Barcelona. So did Xabi Alonso. Even the best need time to recover and grow. And because they take their time, they keep being the best.